doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you thought you couldn't. Thank you for tuning in to Flow Out Loud 360. I'm your host, Tara B. Tonight's show is about awareness. Today is Suicide Prevention Day worldwide. We all know someone or have come in contact with someone who's been affected by suicide. According to the National Institute of Mental Health in 2018, over 48,000 people died in the U.S. by suicide, and there were nearly 1.5 million attempts. Suicide doesn't discriminate. It affects people of all ages, gender, and ethnicities. There seems to be an onslaught of young people now taking their own lives. Suicide has become all too common as a way out. It's something that can often be prevented if we know the warning signs. Suicidal thoughts or actions are signs of extreme distress, not attention. So please don't ignore someone who say they are thinking about harming themselves. While some suicides are out of the blue, very often there were warning signs. Unfortunately, these warning signs often go unnoticed or ignored. Be aware of some of the common suicide warning signs and you may save a life. Feeling hopelessness. It's a serious challenge if someone is miserable and doesn't believe that there's any hope for a better existence. Suicide can be a logical conclusion for them. One possible cure for hopelessness is to prove that the ability to alter the future does exist. For example, set one small goal. It may be to do 5 push-ups or to lose 2 pounds. Accomplishing a small goal is always a way to prove that the future is alterable. Lack of interest in activities that were once pleasurable. One of the primary signs of depression is a lack of enjoyment in previously enjoyable activities. For instance, if you are someone you know has always loved to watch basketball, it would be unusual to suddenly lose interest in that activity. Many people that are considering suicide mention it at some point, so they think about it and they talk about it. If you know someone that seems interested in the topic of suicide, that's potentially a serious warning sign. They may ask you, how would you commit suicide? They might mention a suicide in the news. They might ask your opinion of people that commit suicide. Intentional isolation. People that drastically reduce their social interaction are often also contemplating suicide. When people are miserable, they tend to isolate themselves from everyone else in the world. If your normally sociable friend rarely makes an appearance, there could be an issue there. Giving away possessions. People considering suicide can still be concerned about who receives their possessions when the smoke clears. They often start giving away their tools, their furniture, their pets, and anything else of value. Depression. Depression is a primary warning sign of suicide. Remember that depression is treatable. There's no reason to suffer. No reason to suffer from depression when there's so many treatment options available. Strong feelings of guilt or shame. People that commit suicide are frequently overwhelmed with feelings of guilt or shame. The best way to deal with guilt and shame is therapy. Fortunately, there are many free resources available for this issue as well. An online search will help you turn up several good possibilities. Saying goodbye to friends and family. Committing suicide is like taking a very long trip that you never come back from. Most of us wouldn't leave on a long trip without saying goodbye. If it feels like someone is giving you a farewell for no apparent reason, that could be a warning sign of an impending suicide. Stating that others would be better off without them. Many people consider suicide but decide against it because of the harm they realize it could cause to others. When someone believes that others would actually benefit from their death, that's a serious warning sign that they intend to harm themselves. Be on the lookout for these warning signs. Given the prevalence of suicide attempts in this country, you may know someone that will attempt suicide. You've likely known others that have considered it, whether you realize it or not. Suicide is a significant cause of death. If you know the warning signs, you may be able to stop yourself or someone you know from ending their life needlessly. If you or someone you know needs help, contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-873-TALK, or text 741-741. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, there are 5 steps you can take to help someone in emotional pain. Ask, are you thinking about killing yourself? Number 2, keep them safe. Remove access to lethal items. 3, be there for them. Listen and learn what they're thinking and feeling. 4, help them connect. Contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or text 741-741. And 5, stay connected. Keep in touch after a crisis or discharge from a facility. Help someone you know.